In the quiet towns of western Pennsylvania, a respected doctor treated hundreds battling addiction. But behind the doors of his clinics and inside his home, vulnerability became a weapon, and something way more chilling was unfolding. Hello, welcome to Crime Bytes, a show where we talk about some truly bizarre and disturbing crime cases. My name is Eliza, and today is True Crime Tuesday. We've got Scooty here playing shy with his biggins. Last week we talked about Kendra Hilty. I still don't even know with that, but it did send me down a trail that I've been wanting to travel down for a little bit now. The abuse of power and corruption in the mental health field. And Kendra basically is accusing, or not even is, she's saying that her psychiatrist abused her emotionally, essentially. But in reality, it seems like she may, in fact, have become the abuser by blowing up this man's life all over TikTok, because he never crossed any professional boundaries. But today we're going to talk about someone who did. But before we get into it, let's pause for a quick promotion. Fall is upon us, and it's almost time for Halloween. And if you're looking for the perfect pair of murder weapon earrings, I've got you covered on my Etsy. And I've got these on today. I've got a meat cleaver and a shank. I like to mix and match them for more flavor, if you will. And I'll let you guys order that way as well. If you want like a mismatched pair, just put what you want in the comments when you order one. Anyways, the link is in the description if you are interested. Just lost my dog there. And we're not dealing with murder today, though. We're dealing with other crimes against your person. Look at this fool. He's giving Cliff vibes, but like creepy Cliff vibes. Does that make sense to anyone out there? I got that kind of from my dad, who is like a self-proclaimed Cliff. He kind of resembles this guy a little bit, but this guy has that dead blank stare in this picture, at least, that we've touched on before. But I'm sure there's a reason for that. This is Dr. Thomas Radecki. Thomas Edward Radecki was born in 1946. He would graduate from the Ohio State College of Medicine in 1973 with his MD. He would go on to complete his postgraduate studies in the Philadelphia General Hospital, as well as the hospital at the University of Philadelphia. So let's get into the 80s and back to this photo. In the 80s, Dr. Radecki wasn't just another creepy face in medicine. He was also a national commentator, passionate, vocal, and alarmist. He warned of the dangers of media violence and popular games like Dungeons and Dragons. He even went as far as to testify before Congress, warning that fantasy could warp the minds of the youth. He also would testify as an expert witness in a murder trial about the effects of Dungeons and Dragons, and the court would end up rejecting, hey buddy, they rejected his testimony. Around 1990, Purdue Pharmaceutical changed their regulations, and it made it a lot easier for doctors to prescribe narcotic pain pills. And he got really interested and passionate about people abusing narcotics, which is still to this day a very serious issue. Here is a quick clip of him talking about it.
Content, oxycodone, a Vicodin, 820 availability. One physician in all of Jefferson County. I think there's one in all of Clearfield County, and the need far exceeds the availability. And most of the time, all the doctors are filled. At the present moment, we are filled. 4 of my doctors are only at 30 slots. We only have 820 slots. So, but unfortunately, as I said, opioids are extremely addictive. I encourage people never to take a Vicodin or Percocet. They are identical to heroin. Any drug addict can tell you. They don't care if they get oxycodone, that's what's in Percocet, hydrocodone, or heroin. It's just they'll get whatever they can. They all affect the body the exact same way. The only difference between Vicodin, Percocet, and heroin is the farmers in Afghanistan don't put any Tylenol in with their heroin. That's the only difference. do not ever allow any physician. There is nothing in the field of medicine where they are necessary. There is nothing in the field of medicine where they are the better pain reliever, but they are extremely addictive, and the addiction starts with the first dose. It's very sad to see the tragedy that's happening in our area. Virtually every month, I guarantee you, every month, I know of at least 3 to 4 deaths that are occurring in our.
So yeah, we still deal with this even in 2025. Some medical peers, however, were raising questions about his credibility. Still, his advocacy painted him as a man of principle, a guardian of morality, if you will. And he was about some things until certain urges would start to blur other lines in his head, and his own desires would start to override his morals, even in the professional oaths that he took, which is really unfortunate because he did seem to be very passionate about trying to help people and about anti-violence. So he would get very into Suboxone and Subutex, which is a generic brand for Suboxone. Both are used as treatment in addiction medicine. So March of 1992 rolls around, and the Illinois Department of Professional Regulation would revoke his license after one of his female patients claimed that he was sexually inappropriate with her. His license was revoked for a minimum of 5 years following this, but he went ahead and requested that it be reinstated early, but that was rejected because there were other complaints about a fertility clinic that he was running as well. While all this was going on, he would receive his Juris Doctor degree after studying at the Oklahoma City University of Law and the Illinois University School of Law. He would finish these studies in 1998. His license would ultimately be restored in 2002 with a 6-year probationary period that would end in 2008. Dr. Radecki then opened 4 clinics under the name Doctors and Lawyers for Drug-Free Youth in Clarion, Kane, Clearfield, and Venango counties. By 2011, he was the largest purchaser and distributor of Subutex in the U.S. with over 500,000 doses distributed, plus thousands more of Adderall and Ritalin. Street value estimates of drugs dispensed reached $5 million. And the payment? Almost always in cash, whether from Medicaid payments or privately insured, yet he still billed insurance. Concern turned to investigation, and in September of 2012, Thomas Radecki would once again surrender his Pennsylvania medical license, this time voluntarily, while he was facing allegations of, drumroll please, more unprofessional misconduct with his patients. So he didn't learn or even attempt to change his behavior after the last time. And this time the allegations included that Radecki was trading drugs to patients for sex. So they raided and closed his clinic, seized patient files, drugs, and what they determined to be more than $465,000 in illicit proceeds. Radecki referred to his home as an income-sharing commune, inviting female patients to come and live with him, and one even ended up having a child with him. Others became employees of his clinic as well, and they were paid in drugs and cash. And even more chilling, investigators found video cameras in his treatment rooms, and he had recorded at least one sexual encounter with a patient. So in August of 2013, they would officially announce Thomas Radecki's arrest for overprescribing and trading opiate addiction treatment drugs for sex. Specifically using his program Doctors and Lawyers for a Drug-Free Youth. His trial would last 12 days and be held in April of 2016, and the jury found him guilty on 12 felony counts, including illegal prescribing to 9 patients, running a corrupt organization, criminal conspiracy, and dealing in proceeds of unlawful activity. In June of 2016, he would receive an 11 to 22 year sentence, and he would attempt to get this lessened, so still no real accountability. He claimed that there was some improperly introduced evidence, so he shouldn't have to serve so long, and he also cited his age, which, sir, does anyone else feel bad for him because of his age? You've made some choices. Nasty ass. During his sentencing, he claimed, "I never prescribed a pill I didn't sincerely think wouldn't be helping patients. I never pressured patients to do anything in exchange for treatment." That's the thing with addicts. You don't have to pressure, you just have to offer. Attorney General Mark Surge offered a damning rebuttal. Radecki's clinics were an illegal empire built on exploitation, not healing. Clarion County District Attorney Mark Aaron added, "An addiction bomb went off in Clarion County. We're still dealing with the effect of the actions of Dr. Radecki to this day." And that's the thing. He was at first, or went into it, and he was partially helping these people. Again, until he decided to exploit them. He picked people to help him run his business cheaper, it sounds like. But even worse, he picked people that he could exploit sexually. So while he may have started out wanting to help people and make a real difference in people's lives, and even if he was still helping some people while he was exploiting others, the problem that he created as a person who was really just so loud about certain issues is just that much worse. The damage is bad. And on top of his jail time, Thomas Radecki was ordered to pay $430,000 in fines confiscated from his practice's assets. The judges affirmed that he deserved full accountability despite his age, which, yes, yes you do, you nasty. Dr. Thomas Radecki's descent from moral crusader to convicted felon became, and really is, a cautionary tale of corrupted power. A man entrusted with healing weaponized that trust for perverse control. He left behind not just destroyed lives, but a disrupted community that still grapples with the fallout of his exploitative treatments. The tragic story of Thomas Radecki reminds us that when someone holds power and abuses it, the consequences ripple beyond courtrooms into broken trust, damaged communities, and lives left in the wreckage. And the man hasn't lost his audacity either. In 2021, another petition was denied. This one, he was really grabbing for every last straw he could. He alleged ineffective assistance of counsel, arguing that his trial lawyer failed to challenge certain expert testimonies. You did what you did, sir. And the courts found no basis to overturn the verdict or sentence, and he is still serving his sentence with no evidence that he has appealed again beyond the Superior Court since then, 2021. But, I mean, give him some time. He should almost be to the end of that 11-year mark, though. I believe 2027. So we'll see what he does with that. This case covered some more clear and disturbing instances of a psychiatrist taking advantage of his patients and using his position to prey on the vulnerable and addicted. The story of Thomas Radecki doesn't end with his conviction. It stretches into the lives forever altered, the community shaken, and the enduring question, how do we better guard against trusted voices becoming sources of harm? In the wake of betrayal, healing isn't simple, but facing the truth, even when it's painful, is where justice genuinely can begin. All right, guys, we may do another along these lines next week, or we may do something completely different. I'm not sure yet. What do you guys think about this one, though? And what do you think about Kendra's story after seeing a case where the abuse of power was a lot clearer cut and most definitely there? Until next week, please stay safe out there. Bye.